What's everybody? The Jason Dean here. Happy Tuesday. Happy first Tuesday in April. Abril, as they would say in Espanol. That's one of the few words that I remember from the 2 years of high school Spanish that I took. Yeah. So I am trying to figure out the chat part now to make sure I can see it. And I think I've got it pulled up and ready to go. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, firstly, as you can see here, this is not a photo that I'm going to be editing, but I am super duper excited to announce that my I'm sorry, I thought I had figured out the chat. Oh, this is awkward. All right, how do we do this? Oh boy, the joys of, the joys of learning a new thing. Yeah, I thought I was good to go, but this is not doing this is not doing what I want it to do. Oh, there we go. Bada boom. All right. So that was only moderately awkward. So what I was in the middle of saying before I interrupted myself, because I am a Nimrod sometimes, is I have a gallery show coming up on April 20th through May 31st at The Gallery in Marquette, Michigan. It's a part of their rotation gallery, the Judy Serosik. I'm sure I butchered that name. My apologies to Judy and her memory. From what I gather, she was an amazing contributor to the art scene in Marquette. And the gallery, in her memory, has this rotating gallery where they give artists a chance to have little shows. And so that's what I'm going to be doing in a couple of weeks, slightly less than 2 weeks from today. And I chose the theme Waves or Words, the Many Voices of Lake Superior. So if you've been following me from the beginning, my artist nom de plume for a while was Waves or Words. I was really drawn to photographing Lake Superior. I still am, but that was that was my main muse back in the day. And I took lots of photos of waves. And the name Waves or Words comes from, I had written this poem and I've kind of tweaked it. But the poem is, waves are words spoken by the sea. Let me help her to be heard. And the idea is that I think that nature, the world around us is wanting to communicate with us, wants to commune with us and us to commune with it. And waves are a way that nature, the Lake Superior in this case, communicates with us. And so, the idea, and this is obviously very pretentious, but that my photographs were helping the message of the lake to be heard by people. So anyways, that's where the name Waves or Words came from. And I changed it several years ago, but the idea has continued to be a part of me, resonate with me. And so when it was coming time to choose a theme for this show, it was not difficult to settle on waves or words. And now they're not all of the photographs in the show are going to be waves. But it's all going to be photographs of Lake Superior in different forms and fashions. So anyways, I'm super duper excited about that. And so what I thought would be fun to do from now until the show is done, I'm going to be editing wave photographs in these live stream editing sessions. I may or may not I guess remix some of the photos that will be in the show. For now, I'm planning to do completely unique new photos, although some of them are going to be older. They're not photos that are actively a part of my portfolio or my galleries, my online store. But I thought it would be really cool to just spend the next I guess month and a half, almost 2 months of photo editing, just looking at wave photos, talking about Lake Superior, because again, it is a very important thing for me personally. It's important for our community here in Marquette, for the Upper Peninsula, for the Midwest. I mean, it's just this huge, it's this hugely awesome and important part of life up here, life north of the 45th parallel. So with that, without again further ado, let's get into it. So I picked 4 wave photographs, and we'll start with this one. This one is one that I took about 3.5 years ago now. It was December 22nd of 2022. Almost a palindrome, but not quite. And this one I really like. So one of my I accidentally bumped a preset. I'm not going to be using that preset, but I'll hold it here while I'm talking about this photo so you can see it better. It was a darker exposure. One of my favorite ways to photograph waves, and I feel like I can't remember if I think I talked about this last time with the photo that I edited last week. I love to take photographs of waves head on, trying to take a photograph of like the wave as it's closing. It's this idea that it's a mouth and it's chomping down. And so it's really cool when I can get it kind of mid-chomp. This photograph is obviously, the bite has already been taken, but I really like this. I really like how one of the hard parts about photographing waves like this, especially when you're doing it handheld, is really getting a good framing of the shot. It can be really easy to cut off the bottom too much, so there's not very much foreground, and so then you lose some of the context of the wave. It's also really easy to cut off the top too much and have too much in the foreground, and that's those aren't really interesting photographs to me. But this one was one that I think I did a pretty good job of getting the whole of the wave closing down with some foreground that gives it the context. I think I also did a good job of getting the right parts in focus and sharp. This was a 1/1600th of a second exposure, f5.6 on my 70 to 300 millimeter lens. So I believe that's wide open. 640 ISO on this shot. So with that said, let's start building it. we'll start with the chromatic aberration and profile correction. Profile correction, as you can see, it removes that that vignette distortion and also brightens up the image a little bit. That's kind of nice. We won't transform it. Basic. Here we're going to come in. We're going to start with the color profile, as I do. And I don't think we're gonna lean into the darker. So I don't think we're gonna try modern one. I think we're gonna see what standard gives us, and maybe portrait, and go from there. And I think, looking at these two, I think I like portrait. I think portrait, what this color profile is doing is it's giving this image a little bit of brightness without even getting into the settings, the exposure, lifting the whites, highlights, anything like that. It's just already a much lighter image, and I think that's going to give us the ability to kind of play around with contrast. So we'll start there with the camera portrait color profile, and I think we will leave the white balance as shot. I will probably revisit this. One of the things that can be tricky to get right on these wave shots, especially ones that I shoot with the 70 to 300, because that is, it's been a good lens for me for what I've wanted to do and early in my photography career. But it is, it's certainly not a top of the line lens. And one of the things that, especially at the more zoomed in you are, is it, the colors can get a little wonky. So I think we're going to leave the white balance as is for now, and then we'll revisit it once we've kind of tweaked this a little bit and added some stuff. So let's see here. Exposure. We will lift up the global exposure to about 0.5. Contrast. I don't think I'm going to touch contrast right now. I think I'm going to, in the color grading section, I'm going to tweak the luminance of the three different sections and see if I can make that work. If we mess with the highlights, I think I do want to bring the highlights up a little bit. As you can see, there's a lot of this that's wanting these wave crests, caps. I don't know what I'm really bad with terminology. They're crying out to be made whiter. We definitely don't want to lower them too much, but I also don't want to raise them too much, if that makes sense. Shadows. So we'll lower the shadows a little bit. That'll help with the, give us some contrast. You can see, especially here, behind the thing that I don't know the name of, but lowering the shadows gives that a little bit of contrast that I like. Whites, we will lift the whites more so than the highlights. So we'll do 23, and the blacks will just go down a couple, 7, I guess. All right. So now we're on to presence. So this is texture, clarity, and dehaze. I'm definitely going to bring up the texture. I don't like this one. I don't like as a kind of a soft one. I don't want to go too crazy though on the texture. Let's try it right about 28. Clarity. Yeah, we'll bump up the clarity again, just a little bit, just a little bit. I don't want to go too crazy, but yeah, that's already to me is making the the water seem more like it has more of a firm shape. And dehaze, I don't do anything with usually. You can see cranking it does some stuff. Cranking it down also does some stuff. We're not going to do anything with it. Vibrance, we'll make this more vibrant. Maybe 21. We'll bring up the saturation a little bit. Even though this wasn't taken at the Black Rocks, which is the spot that I love to shoot the waves the most, in part because it has this gorgeous color that I talked about last time. There's still some good color in this wave. It's like a greenish like aqua color, so I want to highlight that while also like having some contrast with the foreground, which is brown, because of the sand under the water. So I don't know if you knew this, water is clear actually, so that's cool. Hopefully you learned something. Now we are going to check in on the tone curve. So let's do, okay. Now I wanted to bring this up. I want to bring that down, and I wonder if there's another spot on this that I can get kind of farther from that one point. I don't want to have points too close together, and I don't think that's going to happen. So I think we're just going to just have our 2 points. But I wanted to bring make the water splash or whatever a little brighter, and we can. I don't know if that's doing what I want it to do. See if we. Okay, actually, hold on. That might be what I wanted to do. I don't want to go too high though. And this one. Okay. So we got a nice little S curve going there. Now I think now we can kind of bring the highlights down a little bit, because we don't want let's see, and now I think we can check our white balance. So if we because we started with as shot. That seems good. I'm just kind of now I'm scrolling, just kind of make sure that that's looking. Now, as you might be able to see, maybe not, depending on how good your monitor and or your eyes are. There's definitely some noise in this image. I mean, it's only 640 ISO, but again, the lens is not top of the line. This is my Nikon D5600, so it's a starter level camera. It's a good image. Do not get me wrong, but it's definitely not. It's not perfect. We're going as close to that as we can. But all right, I like that. I like that. Now we're going to come down here to color grading, like I mentioned earlier, and we're going to do the thing where we just use the luminance to kind of give some mezzo contrast, as I like to call it. And I think that looks good. Shadows, we can lower the shadow luminance just a little bit. And I don't know that we want to do much with the highlight luminance because that's already looking pretty good. We will denoise later. We'll apply sharpen masking so that the sharpening is only happening on certain on the hard edges. And vignetting, we'll definitely add some vignette here. We're gonna vignette. Okay, now I'm actually, hold on. What I might do is we'll make it a little less vignette. We just want a little bit of it. And I think we might make it a little brighter now. Okay. That's good. And then we can bring the whites down a little bit. Okay. All right. So I think the quality there is pretty good. Now we're gonna crop it. Now, what is a 2:1 crop? Interesting. I don't know that I want to go 2:1, but I think I'm liking. Yeah, instead of doing something like I normally do, like a 4:3, let's try a 16:9. Let's see what that gives us. Ooh, yeah. Okay, I like this crop. We cut out some of the top of the wave, which was a little superfluous. We still have a good amount of the foreground, but we've got the teeth of the wave. Again, if I'm thinking about this like it's a mouth, then the teeth are taking up most of the frame here. Yeah. So this is I'm really glad that I revisited this one. This is an image like I think I had even worked up in the past, and ended up it may have even been in my gallery for a while, but I ended up kind of scrapping it. But wanted to revisit it because there is something about this image that I really like, and I feel like I might have been able to unlock it a little bit. So that's exciting. And when I say unlock it, I got to give a little bit of props to the tone curve, because I do think that the tone curve is kind of what helped me to get to the image to where it is now. So yeah, as you might be able to see, you might not. Again, darker image. This is the before and after. Yeah. No, that's a much better image. All right, so we'll move on to numero dos. In another December image, actually, spoiler alert, all of these images were taken in the month of December. That was not intentional by me in choosing them. I picked 4 images that I liked and wanted to rework. So this is an image that I took in early December of 2024, and even though the waves are kind of in the background, this bench is the subject. It counts. It counts. It's my YouTube channel. It's my live stream, so I'm gonna count it. But yeah, I love this bench. I love these benches that are there are different parts of Presque Isle Park. There's other ones in different areas by Lake Superior. I absolutely love these benches. One of the themes that I explore a lot in my work is just, I think, loneliness and loneliness with proximity. And I think that there's something about a bench, an empty bench sitting here on the shore of this lake that just, to me, it captures this feeling of, it captures this feeling of loneliness perfectly. I think maybe it's because this is a bench. It's, the bench's purpose is to be sat on by people. So it's currently just doing nothing. It's all by itself. It's got this beautiful scene that it can't actually, it's not fulfilling its purpose. It can't interact, it can't engage. And so it's just really kind of isolated and trapped. And maybe that's a silly way to think about it, but that's just kind of how my creative mind works, my artistic sensibilities. And so I really love this picture. I love the way I framed it with the the bench is the subject almost in the bottom. One of my favorite ways to shoot, I like to capture scale. And so one of the things I really like to do is to put my subject at the bottom or very close to the bottom, so that the rest of the frame is filled up with whatever the scene is, just so you get a sense of kind of the enormity of the scene or the enormity of the world. And so here we have this bench is sitting on Lake Superior, and so we got the waves in the background. We got these cool looking clouds. I think this is going to be a fun image. And I think this is one that I had worked on with Lightroom Mobile, and then wanted to revisit. So, and this one actually, okay, so this one, it's funny because, long story short, some of my old images I did not save in Lightroom as NEF files, raw files. I saved them as DNG, and I can't tell you off the top of my head what DNG stands for, but it's basically it's kind of like a raw file, except it has the stuff that's been done to it. So this is actually so I'm maybe cheating a little bit. I guess I'm going to be editing a photo that I've already kind of edited, but that's okay. One of my philosophies is that you've never finished editing a photo. You've just made a decision to that it's good enough for now, because you can, there's just an infinite number of ways that you can edit a photo with all these different sliders. So this one has already been edited, so this might be more tweaking, but I'm okay with that. This one is a 1/3200th of a second shot, 70 millimeters. So again, that zoom lens f4.5, so wide open, ISO 100. So I actually feel like this is pretty well exposed, although as you can maybe see on the right, is not the true exposure, but yeah, we only had to bring it up 1.4. But let's check out the color profile. So right now it's modern 1. Now we could hold on. I think if we're gonna excuse me. I'm still getting my rhythm with taking drinks and muting or not muting, and that's neither here nor there. We could make this a black and white, just to really make it kind of different. But I don't think I want to do that. I think there's enough color here that I want to keep. I do want to keep the color. So we're not going to do vivid. Standard or portrait. I think I kind of like it modern 1. It makes that white snow really pop. It makes the water darker. I think we're gonna leave that color profile as it is. Now we could turn it down a little bit so that it's a little more subdued. That's a thing we can do to make this different. White balance. I feel like the white balance is pretty good here. I mean, if we bring up the, I guess we could make it a little better, but we're only adjusting by 1 there, and I don't want to make it too warm or too cold. I think that's pretty good. I think we're pretty good there. Now, what was this, the darks that were chosen for the mask? Interesting. What was even adjusted? Oh, I guess it was desaturated a little bit. What if we hid this mask and see what that that really do anything? I don't I don't know. I think I'm just gonna, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking when I made this mask. We're gonna delete it though, so I don't think it was really. If it was doing something, I don't think it needed to be there. And I'm sorry if I'm. There we go. I guess it did. The water is maybe a little less dark than it was, but that's all fine. So exposure. Yeah, I think exposure is fine. I actually might, maybe we'll do some masking kind of stuff. Contrast is pretty good here. Highlights. Again, I think I'll do some masks. Maybe a mask on the sky and a mask in the subject. Shadows, whites. I guess the whites I don't want to bring too far down because I like this white snow. And bring the blacks up a little bit. Now this is definitely whenever I edited this, I usually, and when I'm editing now, I don't bring the blacks so far down, but I do think that having them down where they were, I think does add, that was a good thing for making the waters darker, helping those whites to stand out. So I'm not gonna do anything really with texture or clarity here. Again, I am planning to do at least a couple masks, maybe more, maybe one more, and maybe I'll do the water separately. Vibrance and saturation are pretty good. I might knock saturation down just a couple. Tone curve. What would you look like if we? So obviously we could go, like way down here. Click a point. We could go way up here to the snow. Maybe we can make that even more contrasted. The sky is not. There's not enough distance between those points. So again, I don't like having these points too close to each other, because then it can make it really, really wonky. And I'm just learning how to do the tone curve, so I don't want to. And hold on. Oh, whoops. Well, there you go, folks. That is what the tone curve can do if you get crazy with it. I think let's bring it up a little bit, because actually I wonder if we, so now coming over here, if we did like a, oh no, I don't want to do that. I don't know. I guess I haven't actively said this, but if you're on and you ever have thoughts or questions or anything, please drop them in the chat, because that's part of why I'm doing the live stream. So I think, at the end of the day, I do think I'm gonna go with back to what that was. I like the darker water, so we're not gonna do anything with that. Midtones, we might bring that luminance up a little bit. Shadows, bring it right about the same. Excuse me. All right. So you can see I'm just making some very minor tweaks at this point, but I'm liking it. I'm liking and we haven't even got into the masking yet. So speaking of masking, sharpen mask. We will make it a little sharper there. Vignetting. Now we could, if we did just to see what happens if making it a winter scene, and I really don't think we're gonna do that. It looks awful in the corner, the tree. So we will not be doing that. Holy cow, that was not good. All right. Let's crop. No, something like this I could definitely do a 4x3 crop. Like that. Yeah, I think I like this crop. Because we're not going to be able to get rid of the whole tree. I mean, I guess I could try. We could do the generative AI removal thing and see what happens, but I think it's probably going to look pretty bad. And also will take some time, although not super long. Yeah. Even though I think it did an okay job of handling the tree removal. Yeah. Also, yeah, I don't like it. I actually think I like the tree there. Just as it's gives it some context. So yeah, we're not gonna remove anything. All right. I think that was basically... All right, let's do some masks. First mask is going to be the subject, which Adobe rightly identifies as the bench. And I don't think I want to... Maybe just a little bit up on the exposure, not too much. Then it does look kind of fake. But even just a couple, like a few decimal points, it does help. And we'll bring the contrast down a little bit. Lift up the highlights a couple. Lift up the shadows, maybe by 2. Whites by a couple, and just bring the blacks down. Okay. So yeah, so what that does, it makes the bench stand out a little bit more, but not in an unnatural way. All right, that's good. That's good. Now the other mask that I know I want. Oh wait, do we want to? Yeah, do we want to maybe make it? We'll give this a little bit of texture. Maybe 12. Clarity we'll bring up by a little bit, just 5 or 6. And we're not going to dehaze. The sky was the next one that I wanted to tackle the sky. Am I gonna? Yeah, I think we will be. We'll subtract a linear gradient. Oops. Holy cow, what? Can I do this with... Oh my goodness. Oh, there we go. Now, I wanted to do... Oh my gosh. You know, oh, that was painful. I'm sorry that you had to see that. Let's just... We'll just let whatever is happening there happen at the edge of the sky. Wow, that was... yeah, that was something. Contrast. So we'll add some contrast. Or no, do we take away? I wanted to add maybe just 2. We'll again just a tiniest little bit of exposure up on the sky. Down on the highlights just a little bit, and then bring up the shadows, bring up the whites. Maybe down to 6, and black point there. Now the question is that too much on the sky? What is, so if we hide it, and then, I don't know. Now this one actually, so we made those tweaks. I think if we, this one, if we add some clarity, we may actually add just a little bit of dehaze here to give some definition to those clouds. Texture a little bit too, and then I think I can do white balance on. Because if we a little bit cooler. All right. Let's see here. I think. Now, have I made this picture better? That is the $1 million question. I actually, in some ways, yes. In some ways, no. I think I like what's happening with the bench more than I did with the original, but the foreground, and maybe what that is if okay. Yeah, now that's looking a little better. Now I do think that what I might do is if we bring the overall exposure down just a little bit, and then I think we can come back to the bench and we can bump it up a little bit. That, to me, that might be what I'm looking for. Maybe. I do think that the shoot. Actually, maybe. Hold on. I'm sorry, folks. I'm starting half thoughts and then cutting them off, and and as I'm thinking, I'm having to shut off the part of my brain that talks. All right. I actually think I lost my microphone. Hello? There we go. Okay, so that, I don't know why that happened, but now I'm on my MacBook microphone, and so the sound will probably be different, and that is a bummer. You're also probably going to hear the clicking of the mouse more, but the show must go on. So that is that image. I don't feel as good about it as I do this one, but that's how it be sometimes. That's how it be. So we got that one. All right, so now the next two are going to be new images. I know they're new for sure. They're both taken from this past December, and this first image is taken about 9:30 in the morning on December 10th. This is a 1/25th of a second, so much slower shutter speeds, 5.6. Actually did a pretty decent job with the handheld on this one. I mean, you can see it's definitely not perfectly sharp, but it's acceptably so for the purposes of the art that I make, especially since I might actually lean into that and maybe soften those rocks as part of an artistic effect. But we'll see. For now, let's just start. Now this one you can see, I guess, kind of see what I was intending to do. This is one of the reasons why modern 01 is one of my go-to color profiles for editing wave photos with the black rocks. It just does what I want it to do. But so one of the things that I really like to do when I'm shooting at the black rocks is I like to take photos where my focus point is the rocks, themselves. And then I'll have in the background, in the background I have the wave, which is usually you want to have the wave in focus, the focal point, the sharp, the sharps, whatever. But to me, I think it can be very interesting if the wave is kind of looming or lurking in the background. If it's out of focus, it's kind of like this impending doom that because it has less shape, it has less structure, it's less focused, it's maybe a little scarier. So that's kind of my thinking with that. So yeah, we're not really gonna mess with the white balance. It looks pretty good. I might make it a little purpler, just maybe one more, and then maybe just a little cooler. But yeah, otherwise I think Nikon did a good job with it. Exposure, we could actually probably bring the exposure down a little bit, because this is 1/25th of a second, so it's letting a good amount of light in on the shutter. Contrast, just a little bit of contrast, but I think we might we'll maybe do some masking here, I don't know. Highlights, we'll bring the highlights down a little bit. Shadows, bring the shadows down a little bit. Whites, we will bring down, and the blacks we'll bring down too, just a little bit. So yeah, already you can see what we're shaping this image to be. I'm not gonna do the presence sliders here because I think I am going to again do some masks. We will make it more vibrant and increase the saturation just a couple. Now, tone curve. With tone curve, yeah, maybe up there, and then one down here, and that. So yeah, bring those there. Bring the white down just a little bit. Now this is probably going to be one as I'm looking. I'm not seeing any dust spots, but I think I should do the dust spot finder because. Oh no, actually no. I take that back. I'm sorry. Even though it's a slower shutter speed, slow down when you speak, Jason. Even though it's a slower shutter speed, it's wide open aperture, so I don't think I caught any dust. I'll still check it, but I doubt it. All right, color grading. So we'll do our meso contrast. So yeah, as you can see, lowering the luminance on the midtones is that's adding some nice contrast to the image. If we, I don't know that I want to bring the shadows down more. I'm going to bring the highlights down just a little bit. And man, the white balance is there. I think something like that is much better. All right. Denoise will happen later. Mask sharpening. Sharpen that mask. Vignetting. I'll definitely do some vignetting. Don't mind if I do. All right. Crop. Let's try a 4:3. And ooh, man, this is close. Because I like all of what's happening at the top of the photo. Actually, that's not bad. Because here's like I said, I like what's happening at the top. I like that you can see the color all at the top. I like that this wave is out of focus, it's blurred. And, oh man, okay, so you might be able to see there's just the lightest bit of purple. And this is something that, again, because of this lens, because it's just the way the lens is constructed, it can, and actually that might, I'll be honest, it might be at least in part because of the Modern 1 profile. Yeah, as you can see, if lowering the Modern 1 and the impact on it does kind of reduce that purple. So I do think if we're going to keep could see what like landscape gives us. Although I think that purple is still there. It's just kind of subtly on the lines. Oh man, in some ways this is kind of a different a different photo than it was, but it also that purplish tint is a little reduced. Where's the white balance? Because that's I could bringing that down. Okay. All right. Now this is one part where in the past I have done with the color mixer. We'll desaturate just a little bit of that color. To get rid of that. So one of the interesting things that you find when you play around with the color mixer is just how light works, and sometimes there's random or seemingly random like spots of colors that you might not expect. I guess people who really know the color wheel are probably not surprised, but so a guy like me, sometimes it's like, hey, what the heck's going on? So, all right, I think that's pretty good. And I apologize, folks. I'm again still getting used to this rhythm and routine. I do feel like I'm losing steam, but we're almost done with this photo. I only have one more that I want to do, so we're gonna get through it. I'm gonna get through it. We're having a good time. We're having a good time. So hopefully that wasn't too loud. I'm having to change microphone midstream. Was not on my bingo card. So I mentioned earlier doing some masking, and I think we're gonna do a linear gradient. And and then we're gonna duplicate this because I want. Yep. Okay. So we got two masks. So this one, what I wanted to do, let's add some contrast. No, I think the main things I was going to do with the mask, not so much the lighting, but the effects, the clarity and such. So I think I wanted to bring, for the waves, the water, bring the texture up, clarity, add a little bit more contrast, and gosh, one, maybe two on the dehaze. So yeah, that gives it just a little more definition there on that. And on the bottom one, I wanted to, I think I wanted to soften it a little bit. Oops, there we go. Again, because these were They're handheld, so they are a little bit blurry. I wanted to kind of lean into that. Not too crazy, right? I don't want it to be, I want it to still be a little bit grounded. So that 29 is feeling a little... All right, so let's go back. I think I got thrown off. Vignetting, yeah. Let's bring the whites up. I do want the whites to be a little more prominent. Okay. This photo is really growing on me. So even though I'm not having a strong emotional reaction to it, as I'm just kind of sitting here like looking at it, it's really growing on me, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff happening here. Obviously there's the dark and the light, kind of juxtaposed one on top of the other. It is a softer image. Some of my favorite images to make of the waves are actually when they're softer as opposed to like a harder wave shot. There's some subtle colors. Yeah. So this one is another good one. Again, I'm losing some steam. This is, I guess, my third live stream, so and I obviously chose to have them at 7 p.m., which is close to my bedtime as I get older. So I will power through. I'm powering through. All right, we got one more photo. This photo, so this was taken mid-December last year. This one I was at Little Presque, or was it Wetmore Landing? I went on an outing with Miles, one of my buddies from the Finch photographer group. We went out in the afternoon. We trekked around. I can't remember if it was Little Presque or not. But anyways, this was early in the ice season, so you could still walk, basically walk up to the water. Those huge ice shelves had not formed yet. And this was a photo I took of, these are the sand ripples. So this water is basically still, it's clear, and these are the ripples of the sand underneath the surface of the water. So very cool. So we'll do our cursory things. This one I took, so this was taken with my 105mm lens, my favorite lens, hands down. I was out, I think, mostly trying to shoot some macro textures, and this is also a good lens for this kind of photography too. 1/250th of a second, f6.3. So yeah, no need to transform. We're gonna go to the color profile. We will not be choosing vivid. We are gonna try portrait. Yeah, we'll do portrait. Portrait again makes it a little lighter starting off, so then we have, I think, more we can kind of play with. The white balance I shot is fine. There's not really any white here, and this is obviously a very abstract image, so it's kind of whatever I want it to be. guess I could see what some of these other ones are, just to, I guess, introduce coolness or warmth. Cloudy makes it a much warmer image, but I think shooting, doing the S shot. I'll bring up the, add a little bit of purple. The first thing we're going to do, we will increase the exposure because it's a darker image. And then we're going to give it a good amount of contrast. Because again, these are ripples of the sand underneath the surface of the water. So we really want to make sure that you can see all of those. You can see all of those lines. Highlights, so we can bring them down, bring them up, bring them down, bring them up. There's not really anything in the. I'm looking at the histogram. Not really anything happening there, so I don't know that I'm going to mess with the highlights too much. Shadows. Shadows are good. Whites. Won't do too much with the whites. Blacks. Okay, so blacks. We can actually, if we bring those down, we can bring the exposure up. Blacks down. Exposure up. Blacks down. Maybe also add some contrast. All right, yeah, that's so lots of, I think lots more, certainly light, maybe some more texture. Speaking of texture, I think we're gonna bring that up maybe to about 15. We'll add a little bit of clarity, not too much, and actually might let our friend D Hayes come out to play a little bit. Bring that up to a +5. Tone curve. I'm not gonna do too much in the tone curve. As you can see, like a lot of, this is obviously very, very mono. I don't know if it's tone, monochrome, mono, whatever. This image is that. So we're not gonna do anything with the tone curve. Again, this is abstraction at its finest. One of my favorite kinds of images to shoot. Some mesocontrast. Even though there isn't much in the way of the different midtones, shadows, highlights, you can still tweak it a little bit and have fun with it. Sharpen masking. It's actually not. I don't think I'm going to do that because there's not much. Again, I think, even though I believe I set my focus point on the, below the surface of the water, still shooting through the water itself. So, vignette. What does a vignette add here? I don't think I want to do that because, again, I think because this image is so mono, even a little bit of vignette really, I guess one, but that doesn't move the needle. Not really. So, so we will not do that. All right. Now crop. I think I am gonna try that 2x1. 2x1 is a orientation growing on me quite a bit. Recently, I was helping. There's somebody who was interested in purchasing some of my photos, and they were looking at like a 24x48 orientation, so 2x1. And I actually really like yeah, I really like this. I like this crop quite a bit. It's very interesting to me. And with an image like this, I think it works really well because the whole image is basically the same thing. So the interesting aspects of the image are enhanced by removing some of the repetition. And I think too, one of the things as I was going through is I do think there are parts where the sand ridges were sharper than, like, I don't know that there was uniform sharpness all the way through. So this allows me to just keep the parts of the image that are the sharpest. Even though I love to shoot crazy, out of focus, blurry, all that stuff, there are definitely images that I like to have sharp. So that's my prerogative, and I'm sticking to it. So this image, I think now that I've edited a little bit, so now let's see what landscape or vivid or standard. I don't know that they make it darker, sure, but I don't know that they make it more interesting. We can just make this darker. Bring up those. Might be able to. If we bring the blacks down. Bring the whites. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it, folks. So just to recap, we got this image, which I do think I'm going to turn the vibrance and the saturation down just a little bit. But no, this image I really like. We got this image that I had already edited and then just kind of tweaked a little bit. I think that's in a good place. We got this image, which, as going through it is really growing on me quite a bit. And then this image of the ripples of the sand underneath the water. So I think that's going to do it for me tonight. Thank you, everybody who was able to pop in, hang out. Reminder, and I will be talking a lot about this on my socials and everything. So I'm not going to be, I don't think, certainly not every week, giving the backstory, but yeah, definitely want to remind you guys that I have this art gallery coming up at The Gallery in Marquette, Michigan, April 20th through May 31st. Waves are words, the many voices of Lake Superior. It's all about images of the surface and the waves of Lake Superior. So hope that you're able to stop in and check it out. And until the gallery's done, I'm going to be doing wave photo editing here on live stream. So if you like the wave images that I take, you're definitely going to want to check out the streams. But that's all I got. Thanks, everybody.